How can you impress a tech company with your UX portfolio if you only have fake projects there? So no numbers, no evidence of success, no user research, no stakeholder management. Many people are stuck in this loop. I don't have a job, that's why I don't have projects, that's why I don't have a job, that's why I don't have projects. But I, as a hiring manager, see some successful strategies that people are using in order to land an entry-level job in UX design and some mistakes that they do. In this video, I'm going to give you the approach that you can use to compile an outstanding portfolio consisting only of fake projects. And if you are new to this channel, my name is Ines. I'm a principal product designer with 16 years of experience, and only in the last year I've reviewed more than 300 portfolios of my students here on my YouTube channel, on my Instagram, and in the School of UX Design that I founded. So if you are learning UX design, subscribe. And in order for you to get out of this mindset that I don't have a job, that's why I don't have projects, I don't have a job, and it continues non-end, you need to change your mindset. Instead of chasing this one ideal project that will communicate to a hiring manager everything that you can do as a UX designer, the whole value that you can bring to the table, and then ideally this project has to be a real life project so that it is more convincing and hiring managers are impressed by it. So unfortunately, it rarely happens when you are just starting out in UX design. It's more likely that instead of having one ideal project, you will have to create multiple projects with some compromises that will communicate your value as a UX designer in the same way as this ideal imaginary project would do. And for you to figure out what projects you will need to create, you will have to understand the mindset of a hiring manager and some questions that they have and that they search for an answers in a junior UX designer portfolio. So I'm as a hiring manager myself. I started hiring back in 2011 when I was working in an agency. Then I was hiring for multiple agencies where I used to work until in 2019 I switched working in-house in a big tech company, and it was the year where every company was hiring, so we were constantly also hiring new candidates, and it was also the year where a lot of people started considering UX design. And starting 2019 I reviewed so many portfolios and I've seen so many approaches what the people take in order to understand and to figure out this mind of a hiring manager and to create projects that would fit this hiring manager's mindset. And I think many people just overdo that. It's actually not that hard to understand how we hire UX designers. And initially, every hiring manager has more or less the same 3 questions and the same 3 qualities that they need in order to have these evidence for those qualities and in order for them to invite this person for an interview. And those qualities are creative problem solving, navigating real-life constraints and challenges, and good execution level. Let's lay them down one by one. So the first one, creative problem solving. In this category, I actually also include the question of creative problem identification as well. Because especially the more senior you are going, the more it is important for you to initiate your own projects at work. And this is especially important when you are senior or staff or a principal designer as I am. But for juniors, it is also very interesting to see because you don't need this seniority title to start suggesting some improvements, and we are overall expecting some initiatives coming out from people we work with. And if you identify the problem or the problem was given for you, it is still important to solve it in a creative way and to suggest the best solution. A sort of a fun and but also very sad mistake that many people do is that they believe that only a client project can demonstrate this quality. And indeed, sometimes real life projects, they are so interesting and they are so communicating the value because we can also kind of bring up the numbers that will prove that our solution was effective. However, for most people who are starting in the UX career, the clients that they are able to obtain are somewhat suboptimal, and they either don't value UX design, or they have too many constraints and limitations. Maybe it is a budget limitation, or maybe just the knowledge limitation, or maybe a technical problem that they have there due to a low maturity of the organization. So that the solution that you will be proposing to the problem will not be that creative, and they will also not probably allow you to initiate things yourself, because you will be always dealing with those constraints and with those feedback pieces that will devalue your UX design, and the solution that you will get out of it is suboptimal. And although it is technically a real life project, it is a client project maybe, or maybe you helped out your friend who is working on a startup, you will not be demonstrating the whole potential that you might have there otherwise. So what can you do there, especially if you only have fake projects? The best approach that I have ever seen is when people are suggesting the improvements to the existing products on the market. So if you are using YouTube, for example, you might come out with some ideas on what to improve in YouTube, and then you can initiate this, you can explore the problem, you can do usability tests even, because a lot of people are using YouTube, so it's technically not a problem to find your users who are willing to talk with you, and then you can suggest a solution. And this is, in my opinion, just the best way how you can demonstrate your creative problem identification and problem solving skills, because you will have no clients who is standing behind your back and observing your designs and giving you comments, and this way probably devaluing your solution. And you will also have to figure out the problem yourself, so you will have to study YouTube and you will have to study competitors and just to find what to improve. And this is very interesting because I'm also a YouTube user and I can assess the visibility and the viability of your solution and your problem in a more informed way. And you can also be very strategic about the projects like that, because you can target companies that are having headquarters in your region. So if you are working in the San Francisco, then you can target YouTube also for the fact that they can potentially hire you. However, if you're working in Germany, here in Berlin, you might target local companies like local delivery services and something like that. And you can also suggest improvements for them. It's not guaranteed that they will hire you, but it will anyway catch their eyes, and it will catch the eyes of other people who are hiring in this area, because chances are that they are also using this product and they can assess it in a more informed way. And it is also overall a bit more engaging to look for solutions and to read through case studies for projects that you already know. So I highly recommend you to use this approach if you want to demonstrate your creative problem-solving skills. The other way how you can do that using only the fake projects, if you can initiate a pet project. And right now it is actually so easy to create a pet project using those AI vibe coding tools and stuff like that. I'm also working on a couple of pet projects myself, although previously the bar of entry was always a bit high for me and I always had no energy to also study code in a way that it will be enough for me to realize my ideas. However, right now I can really experiment, I can really try something else, and I can also include it in my portfolio. And especially if you're just starting out, it is just a great opportunity to also show how you can find problems in the world that you can solve, how can you then suggest a solution that will be a best solution for this problem, and how can you execute on the solution. And all of that will be packed in a nice pet project that will also demonstrate who you are as a person. I have recently reviewed the portfolio of a person on this channel who has created a very small pet project that will allow you to search for Pokemon. And it is just a fun thing. It is a very small experiment with the code, but it also gives me an idea of what are the person interests, and there is some UI for it, so I can also assess the execution level and I could have fun but also get an idea of the person's skills and values. However, I must note here that you might want to be a bit more careful with this second approach and with your pet projects. Because with the first project type, where you are suggesting improvements for the existing business, you can be sort of sure that this business has customers, has business value, that you can talk with real users and you can understand if this is something that solves a real problem for them. With pet projects, it's way easier to become a bit too playful. And although I personally believe that it's nothing wrong with being playful in your work, in your portfolio, and I mentioned this Pokemon project, which is also a bit fun project to explore. However, if your portfolio consists only of playful projects and only on informal projects where the business value is not proven and it's very hard to actually find a way to prove it as well, then you also might look as a person who doesn't care about the business value. This is something you don't want if you are looking for a job as a product designer, because you will be hired and you will be paid for solving real business problems. So having a playful pet project could be a nice addition to your portfolio, but it should not be your crown project. You can also create a pet project that will be more business focused and business related. I once reviewed a portfolio of a person who designed an application that helps finding safe off-road slopes for snowboarding in a certain region. And actually this project was based on a very unique insight from this person who is living in this area and who is doing a lot of off-road snowboarding. And this project is proven to be a success. So people really are paying for this project to get to this information. So technically, yes, it is a pet project, but it is something more than that. It is sort of a small business or a small startup. And maybe this person can take this project and even turn it to a business project and to become a CEO of a unicorn startup, who knows? But usually people are not thinking in those terms. They are creating something small, something of an experiment, because it's also very hard often to identify a problem that has a viable business idea behind it, because if that would be quite easy, that then everybody would be a business person, we clearly see it is not happening. That is because it is really challenging to find what people are willing to pay you for. So creating a more informal and playful project is a legit way. It's just you need to balance your portfolio of fake projects really nicely and skillfully, but no worries, this whole video is going to be about that. Next, the second quality that hiring managers are looking evidence for is navigating real life challenges. And this is where a lot of people are getting really frustrated and sometimes angry, because they believe that they can only demonstrate this quality by working with real clients. But I'm here to tell you that it's not the only way. Remember, we were talking about making fake projects for real products. So this is again a fantastic approach to demonstrate this quality. Because when you will be working with YouTube, for example, and you will be suggesting an improvement for YouTube, you will have to work within the given constraints. There is the design system, there is some other pages that you need to be consistent with. There are users that you can talk with who will provide you real life feedback. And this is enough, basically. This is enough for you to demonstrate that as a UX designer, you can work within given legacy and within some constraints that are there in the world. Moreover, you can plan to include a mentor or a design lead to your project process. How you can do that? You can initiate the project, you can sketch out some solutions, you can start with the research, and then you can reach out to mentors on platforms like ADP List, and the link will be included down below. It is a free platform where you can find mentors for every topic related to UX UI design. So you can ensure that you meet this person regularly and they help you to increase the bar and they help you with your execution. This way you will emulate this real life environment that we have in UX UI design when we are working on a team, because there you will have to show your designs on design critiques to other colleagues of yours, and this way you can emulate this process and somehow fake it as well to show that you can work with other people, that you can work with feedback, and you hear what other people are saying. By the way, if you like this video and you want to receive more videos like that, then give me thumbs up and hit the subscribe button down below. That's important for me and for YouTube algorithms to start recommending you similar videos. And we're moving on. Now, the third quality that hiring managers are assessing is the good execution level or a suitable execution level. The thing is that hiring managers from tech companies, they have a product at hand already. They have a design system, they have certain standards within the team, and they of course want to hire a person who will be reaching those standards and the quality bars right away. And even juniors are obliged to have the level that will be seamlessly integrated in the current product. So if we're talking about YouTube and a project that you can initiate for it, we see that YouTube has a certain style already. It is a bit subtle, it is more or less invisible, but it is also well balanced and very much clean, with the focus on the videos, of course. It is a bit heavy in terms of the UI, but it does not look crumbled and crowded. And this is the level that they will need from every person who joins their UX UI design team. But of course, we're talking about a FAANG company here, or a AAA company, but there are other companies with other styles and somewhat lower quality bars and UI bars that you can also be matched with. And it actually might not be that bad if your first job is in the company where the execution bar and the UI is a bit lower than your ideal targeted UI, but also your level will probably be matched with their level anyway. Because unfortunately, it's really rare when people are hiring UX designers that are lower in the execution bar than the rest of the product. It's almost never imaginable that it's going to be the case. You will have to work on your execution and on your UI in order to reach the level of the best companies, because I would really wish you to work in the great companies, because if you see that the products that people are creating are great, so YouTube is great, Notion is great, Instagram is great, then you can also be sure that the design practices that they use are also the best of their sort. And it is possible to actually get a job as a junior designer in Instagram and in YouTube, but you will also have this level already established on the level of these companies. And of course, you will be demonstrating your execution level in everything that you have in your portfolio. And you know a funny thing, that in here, to assess this execution level, it is irrelevant for me as a hiring manager if I'm seeing a fake project or a real project. Sometimes even I saw instances when people were having real client projects in their portfolio, but they had really bad execution, because again, you might join a team that is of a lower maturity, and then their design system will not be optimized and it will not look good, and then the practices that they use will not allow you to explore all the possibilities and to play around to find the best UI solution there. So sometimes clients' projects can even hurt your portfolio, and you will have to do some extra work to get them on the level that you want hiring managers to see. But with the fake projects, you are secured from that, because you can choose the product to work on and to suggest the improvements for yourself. Just don't choose the projects that have a bad UI level. Even if you are working in the region where overall maybe the UI level is not that great, but you are targeting one of the companies that is located nearby, still maybe think twice if you want this company to be included in your portfolio and if you want to suggest improvements for them, because there is no guarantee that this company will hire you. At the same time, you might target some companies that are hiring globally and remotely, and the level that you will have there with your local project will just not be enough for them, for this global company. So think about that strategically. And the other project type that you can choose to demonstrate this quality is a generic fake project. What is a generic fake project? It is a typical project that you normally receive in a bootcamp. It sounds like create a dog walking app, or create a nanny finding app, or create an app where you can book a doctor's appointment, something like that. So it is always an app, a website, and usually you have no constraints. You can create this project from scratch. You can define your own style, you can create your own design system, and you can control all the flows that you are designing for it, which is great to demonstrate your design execution level and your quality level. However, with the self-initiated projects that you create from the scratch, you need to be assessing your current UI level in a more objective way, because all the problems that you might have there in the UI, they will populate themselves really visibly. And if you have problems with typography or with colors, this will clearly be seen in your projects, because this gonna have nothing else than your execution. So there are benefits and also downsides to this approach. But of course, usually you are given those projects on a bootcamp, so chances are that you already have something like that in your portfolio. Then you need to assess if those projects are demonstrating the quality that you want hiring managers to see, because virtually you will only be giving this answer to the last question that hiring managers might have. You will not be showing how you can work with real life constraints, because there are no real life constraints. You will also not demonstrate creative problem solving, because usually you are given the problem, or this problem is very obvious and everybody can see that this is a problem. So if we need a nanny, then obviously having a nanny finding app is a good idea, or we can explore the App Store and see that there are a lot of nanny finding apps, so it is kind of working. So there is nothing that I can assess, there is nothing unique in this one and your approach to the problem. At the same time, if you decide that YouTube right now will need stories, for example, so let's integrate stories as we have them on Instagram to YouTube, how that might look. This is an interesting idea because it is initiated from your own vision, from your own experience, from your own needs that you might identify. And now let's review a portfolio from one of my students who has only fake projects in her portfolio, and this portfolio converts very nicely. So let's see what we have here, and Olga has here 3 projects. So you see this Zalando project, some B2B project, and some projects for healthcare. I can tell you right away that this 3rd project is the project from a bootcamp. So it is a generic project where you can book a doctor's appointment. The 2nd project is connected to Olga's background. So you see she was working in procurement and supply chain. And she is creating a project that is a B2B project for a service that is a similar one that she was using while she was working as a procurement specialist. And the 3rd project is for Zalando. So Olga is located in Berlin, and also due to her background in retail, she decided to add this project. Although she was not hired by Zalando to do that, it is not a design challenge that she was given while applying to Zalando as well. It's purely her initiation. I will also include the link to her portfolio down below so you can explore her case studies, because they are also very nicely done. She is using the same methodology and the same techniques that I will be teaching on my upcoming course in September. The link to this program will be down below. It's going to be the course about UX portfolios, job search techniques, CVs, cover letters, and LinkedIn optimization. Basically everything that you need to make your portfolio to be seen. This is also going to be probably the last program about portfolios that I will make, because overall I think that I have created everything, that I told you everything that I know about the portfolios, and I basically packed it up in this program that has more than 80 lessons, I guess, and a lot of like checklists, trackers, and everything that I have defined while working on this program with Olga. She was a part of it, of the previous testing program that I had. So you can scroll through her case study and decide if this approach is this something that you like and you want something like that for yourself. But my point is that although her portfolio consists only of fake projects, she now gets invitation to interviews constantly, and out of every 10th application she gets 1 call back. And she made a video with me in the podcast format that I will also include down below, where she talks about her experience and about her portfolio journey that took her 5 months to finish, but she also had to create 2 new projects for her portfolio to balance it out, to show all the criteria and qualities that hiring managers are seeking. And that is why, as a result, she has her portfolio that is converting. And this is also what I wish for you, and hopefully this video and my approach will help you out and will help you figure what to include in your portfolio if you only have fake projects for now, and maybe you will decide to create a new project, or maybe you will rebalance the current projects. It is also possible, and in many cases you actually don't need to create something else if you are being smart about your positioning and if you know the criteria, and you can make a checklist when going through your portfolio if you are fulfilling those criteria. But if you like this video and you want to receive more videos like that, then hit the subscribe button down below and click the bell. This way you will get a notification when a new video comes out, and I see you next time.